Hello, fellow travelers. This is Veronica from Human Design Journey, and I'm ready to look at the daily transit, which is quite explosive today. Let's look at it. So we have the 3536, the channel of transitoriness, a design of Jack of all trades. The sun just entered the 47th gate, the gate of oppression, and the gate of realization in the Ajna center. But the 3536 will be here until look at that. 35. Okay, until the 20th of September. So 10 days. No, even more. 21st. The 21st of September. So the 20 till the 21st of September, and there will be a lot of emotionally charged energy. Let's look at that. The channel of transitoriness. It links basically the throat center. Let me change my pointer. It links the throat center through the 35th gate to the gate of progress, to the 36th gate, the gate of the darkening of the light in the emotional center. And here we have an emotional manifesting channel. One of the three manifesting channels. This will be the other one. And this is the third one. So this is a manifesting channel, which means that we will see in the next 10 days people just manifesting, initiating, talking a lot, and inevitably making crisis after crisis. We have here 36th gate, the darkening of the light, the gate of crisis, and the 35th gate, progress, the gate of change. So change and crisis await us for the next 10 days. It can become quite steamy and hot, emotionally hot, juicy. So here we have an emotional manifesting channel that will try anything and everything. And if there is no obvious value even in that, it will try it just to gain experience. That's why it's called the channel of all, jack of all trades, because those people tried everything. They just dive into the experience, and usually because it's a collective channel, they take people with them. They want to share their experience, and they just go for it. And if you don't want to share the experience with them, they'll go find somebody else who wants to. But basically, over time, gaining all this experience, it might grant some wisdom. And that's why it's the jack of all trades. And experiences may pay off in terms of value, or they might result in a sense of dejection that nothing amounts to very much. Like, I've been there, done that. Not much. And I better don't go do it again, because this change can bring more crisis. And if it didn't kill me the first time, it might kill me the second time. So those experiences, they can bring wiseness, but we have to be engaged correctly in the experience. And if we're not manifestors, this can only be actually a manifesting generator, or a manifester with this channel. So it's for the manifesting generators. It's Yeah, and also for the manifester, it can be because you have to wait for emotional clarity. So you should not act hastily, but see, and for the manifester, inform who you're going to impact, and for the manifesting generator, if you respond over time, what your response over time tells you your clarity. So here, this channel, it shares what it does with the others, and it's the experiential way that might require doing things that have never been done before, and that might not be very easy because everything that has never been done, you can get into a crisis because it's new. And mm, that's what makes actually everything so interesting. The process is shared, and it's crisis which brings you to change and to progress eventually. And that's something you don't want to do alone, of course. You take others with you, and it's just an exploration. Those people are the true explorers. They want to go and to go through the experience, live through it, and they don't have to go back to it. It can be a person who, for instance, tries many different instruments in life, and at the end, they might not become a good musician. But if you come to them, they can tell you, well, I tried that, and this is like this, and I tried that, and that's like that. So, hence, jack of all trades. So, guys, the next few days, 10 days actually, in fact, be very careful not to manifest and to initiate things. If you're a reflector, if you're a projector, if you're generator, a manifesting generator, you will be pushed by the energies. And let's look exactly how to be impatient and to act hastily. And if you're a manifester, don't forget you have to get clarity, gain clarity if you're emotional. And if you're not, you might be pushed to take emotional decisions. So that's not a very easy transit. It is quite um, energy, energetic, and a lot of things can be manifested and realized and materialized, which might not be the right timing for. It's an energy and expression of speaking and doing, and the throat center is about timing. So the correct timing is essential. If we look at the 36th gate, in the emotional center, the darkening of the light, the gate of crisis, the second line support, assistance to others in times of decline, the application of imagination to schemes which benefit others, feelings that can benefit others in times of crisis. Okay, so that's how the gate of crisis can come in the form of support. And at the same time, so we can see a lot of support around us. And at the same time, we have, so this is this is something happening. Actually, it's an illusion and spirituality, and it's something happening behind the veil. It's Neptune here. So we don't know, maybe even some crises might seem that are harming us, but it might turn out that they benefit others. And this can come up later, not necessarily immediately to be seen, something which is happening behind the veil. Maybe some allies are helping behind the veil without us knowing. And the 35th, the progress, the gate of change, the first line, humility, the ability to accept rejection, a self-destructed reaction to rejection, loss of worth, change, and rejection as humiliation. So that's it's fixed here in the detriment, the ability to accept rejection. So it will probably be a self-destructive reaction to rejection. Um, okay. Especially people who also have the 49th gate, the gate of rejection. There is a lot of rejection in the air. You can become emotional about it and act hastily and with um, to harming yourself, because we have Saturn here. It is discipline and limitation, where we're being punished when we're not correct. In the gate of revolution, the gate of principle, second line, the last resort, the determination to exhaust every possible peaceful avenue for change, and then, when satisfied that no other course is possible, to plan in detail before revolution is attempted, the potential to explore every possibility before rejecting, the overwhelming revolutionary urge that is impatient with accommodation and negotiation. The tendency here is the coup d'etat, that has little general support, impatience with accommodation. So you can start a coup d'etat. And that's actually, it can be tricky. And actually, I have in my life such situations. So mm, the transit field is not something that is being lived blindly, because that will be incorrect. It's about your own authority and strategy, so that you're correct and you're not under the influence of what's going on in the planet, in transit fields around us. The stars, which emanate the neutrinos, which go through all these planets and then touch us, and we can become the puppet on strings. So interesting. Uh, okay. Mm, let's see now the 47 gate, which Sun entered and will stay for approximately 5 days uh, until the until Thursday. And also the Earth will be in gate 22 also until Thursday. But let's see, now we are in the second line. Um, no, actually, let's look at the gate itself, the 47th gate. So the 47 gate, oppression, a restrictive and adverse state as a result of internal weakness or external strength, or both. And we have, yesterday we had the taking stock, first line, the ability in times of hardship to concentrating on eradicating the negative factors that have led to oppression, and realizing the negative thoughts have to be eradicated. The delusion of seeing oppression as an exclusively external phenomenon with often disastrous results, the sense that the world is against you. And today, the second line, ambition, the ambition and drive to overcome personal oppression in order to achieve security, realizing that to be busy is mentally healthy. An indecisiveness in times of personal oppression, whether to apply the intelligence to recovery or accept its weight to take advantage of others, prevailing conditions that may only be temporary, the ability to sense when and which activity is healthy. Okay. And oppression in general, uh, it's the gate of realizing, the gate of realization, but it's not a comfortable process, guys. Um, it's in the sensing circuit, and it's an abstract part of the abstract channel, actually the channel of abstraction, a design of mental activity and clarity. And the 47th is designed to keep on um, turning, and so it's able to realize it's under the mental pressure of the 64th gate, which is the fuel of conceptualizing potential, and can be compared to going to movie theater, and instead of seeing the whole movie, you're being projected different scenes, which have nothing to do with each other, or it's from the same movie, but they don't give you the whole movie, they give you just, or like a detective when you are in the in a room, and then you have to see all the evidence and find stuff and put them together and put together the pattern and create the whole picture. So it's the same here. And that's the potential of the realization. The 64th gives all these images, and the 47th can process them and get to a moment of, aha, this is why. But because it is continuously under the pressure of the conceptualization, it can become oppressive. It's an ongoing process. And if we turn it against us, especially, since it's a cyclical energy, it can be quite oppressive. So it's not about ourselves, it's for the others, and it's a part of a projector channel. Here, the keyword, as in all the abstract, is and sensing circuit, is patience. Basically, you cannot find resolution, you cannot understand what have happened, and it's an unresolved pressure until everything is finished so that you can turn around and realize. So it's only about the waiting for the momentum of realization and aha moment. It's the gate of realizing. So today, in the second line, ambition, the ambition and drive to overcome personal oppression in order to achieve security. Realizing that to be busy is mentally healthy. And as we read, an undecisiveness in times of personal pressure, and the ability to sense whether something is healthy. And the third line tomorrow will be self-oppression, the conscious and well-integrated being whose natural right action will eventually come to see the unfoundedness of its oppression, the eventual realization that one is really okay. A self-oppression so highly energized, on the other hand, in the detriment that it may prove irreversible and destructive, extreme difficulty in realizing one's self-worth. So be careful tomorrow, especially about your self-worth. The fourth line, repression, the constraints of external oppression, that will be in 2 days, the strength of identity that even in times of the most powerful oppression can maintain its resources and to some extent ensure the survival for the benefit of others. A sense of identity that can be maintained despite external conditioning. When robbed of its light, the moon is lost in darkness, barely able to nourish itself, let alone others. The identity overwhelming by external conditioning. Then the fifth line is called the saint of the 47 gate. This position has special significance and there is no planet in detriment. The gift in times of oppression to maintain without hypocrisy a harmonic relationship with one's oppressors while providing aid and succor to the oppressed. Realization at its most exalted, acceptance of the weight of the abstract process and the grace that naturally follows. And the sixth line, futility, a difficult position for which there is no exaltation. So it is the sun in detriment where the strength of will alone may find a way to adapt and survive, but without hope of ever overcoming the oppression. Life is an ordeal stripped of realization. This is in the air for the next few days. And let's look at the 22nd gate. Let me find it. Okay. So Let's see. Yeah. Uh, Grace. Finally, the gate of openness. Grace, a quality of behavior best suited in handling mundane and trivial situations. So that's where we're grounded. In this oppression energy is being grounded in the 22nd gate of openness, and we're now in the second line charm school. But here we have the potential to realize the spirit becomes the possibility to share that spirit with others. The role of the individual is incomplete without social skills. So it's basically openness that provides the individual with the gift for public access or not, knowing when to be cautious and not actually be open when you're not in the mood, because it's also an emotional gate. So the possibility of this gate is to empower others with the individual emotion. It is the quality of the emotional spirit which will condition how receptive the collective will be in the individual awareness. And here we have the knowing process, which requires a certain amount of social interaction to disseminate its individuality towards the goal of mutation. So we have also this mutative energy, and it's about where the spirit of the knower is released in a wave. We have basically here it's the sense of hearing. It is the right ear which hears in the wave. We have 3 ears. We have the right ear. We have the left ear, which is the intuition, and we have the inner ear. But here we have the right ear, and it hears in the wave. If you listen to somebody, to music, you will hear either the good or the bad, because you're either in the wave of pain or in the wave of hope, and the rest will come later. It's only one part of the story that you're seeing at any certain moment. It's just individual openness or not, and whether you're up or down on the emotional wave. The quality of the emotional spirit will condition how receptive the collective will be in the individual awareness. And right now, yesterday, first, let's look at the specific lines. The first line, second class ticket. That's me. The ability to accept and enjoy a subordinate position. The emotional awareness to enjoy a subordinate position, and the detriment, the inevitable humiliation that comes with claiming a first class seat with a second class ticket, where the emotional energy challenges the awareness and can result in humiliation socially. So this is about giving way, just giving way and not pushing yourself. For instance, in traffic jam, it's being polite and giving way to the other, not pushing yourself to go first. Even if you're on a road with equal, although there is no such thing actually, there is always preference. But you get my point, to be actually nice, or to be able to accept being second, having a second class ticket, just giving preference to the other. It's not fighting for it. Today, we're in the second line charm school, the belief that style can mask nature, the ability to successfully delude oneself and others, the possibility to attract others with an emotional style, or the legalization of form over substance, where the style is energized at the expense of awareness. Whoa. So that's charm school today. Be aware. And this is what we might be watching on the news and around us. Attracting others with emotionality, legalization of form over substance, and the belief that style can mask the nature, but truth it eventually comes out. Tomorrow we will have the third line, the enchanter, the perfected grace from a form as a definition of actualization of substance, the possibility for perfected openness through the alignment of emotional energy and awareness, unconscious grace, and innate openness. The fourth line, we will get into sensitivity, the modification of behavior to enrich interactions, a mediumistic simplicity that rejects elaborate rituals, the possibility of social openness through the rejection of formality, the over-reliance on the mechanics of style that can abort potentially significant relationships, the limitation of social openness through the need for formality. That will be in the sensitivity. The fourth line, the opportunist. Then we go to the fifth line, the most exalted. It's called directness, the disregard of form when required, the power inherent in higher principles to successfully transgress behavioral codes, the possibility through emotional awareness to behave individualistically in social interaction, a tendency to create embarrassing situations, and though invariably successful, the often resulting reputation for crudity and impudence, the possibility that individual behavior in social interaction will generate negative projections from others. Ooh la la. A lot of projections can be expected 3 days from now. And disregard of form when required. Then we will get to the sixth line, maturity, the alignment with experience of form, substance, natural and evident leadership and authority, the possibility that experience in social interaction will result in a leadership capacity. The alignment tends to express itself in nonconformist modes. The possibility that experience in social interaction will result in a nonconformist expression of openness. This is what awaits us for the next few days till Thursday, when we will get into the Sun will get into the gate of conflict. That will get interesting with together with the crisis and change. As we know, this will continue for 10 days. But let's look at the notes. They're still in the first and the second gates. So we will get something about the future direction, which will be the direction probably of the whole coming period. Unconscious and unlearnable alignment of stimulus and response, the natural, the second gate in the receptive. Second line, genius, the inner strength to focus and realize a natural gift for unlearnable knowing. Genius is madness, knowledge exclusively as power for the enhancement of the ego, the delusion that knowledge is power. Yeah, the delusion that knowledge is power, guys. Knowledge is not power. It can actually be quite oppressive. 47 gate and confusing. And the inner knowing, it's either there or not. And if we follow our strategy and authority, we will know when is the correct timing to express that knowing or not. And then we have the first gate, second line, love is light. Here we have the gate of self-expression, the creative. Venus exalted as a symbol of beauty, the required harmony between established values and ideals that enriches inspiration. Self-expression conditioned by ideals and values. Desires and passions have their place, but not at the expense of creation. Self-expression limited by desires and passions. So there'll be passions and desires which might limit us, but the whole idea here is we're looking for the love is light, the most creative, self-expressed direction, conditioned by ideas and values. So we're always looking for the best, most beautiful, most effective way. And if we do it with our minds, which we can see are very far from actually energy, then we can get tricked in what's correct to be manifested and initiated and what not, especially in those transits that push you a bit over the edge can be. Okay, let's look at the moon, which is the driving force, where we're thinking, the mind, innocence, the gate of the spirit of the self, the driving force of the mind. The fourth line, survival. The nature of true innocence can be maintained regardless of circumstances. The beauty of the rose in the garbage dump. Jupiter is also exalted, the highest principles even amongst the greatest decadence. The spiritual warrior, the innocence maintained regardless of circumstances. That's what the mind will be focused on and what we want to get communicated out. Work on what has been spoiled, the gate of correction. Sixth line, Buddhahood, the perfected form, the Buddha state of the eternal child and the energy to find new horizons to avoid stasis, the potential of the perfected form through correction, and the detriment, the mundane application of the above, the ability to tap public opinion and share methodology, the potential to share the values of the correction with others. And we would want to share with us our corrections. 40th gate, Venus, our values and relating, moral values, the gate of deliverance, the gate of aloneness. Third line, humility, a calculated mode in deliverance to avoid attracting the attention of negative forces. The subtlety to enjoy deliverance without having to flaunt it. The capacity of the ego to avoid negative forces, even if it means being alone. The ego arrogance that demands attention and gets it. The capacity of the ego to demand attention. So be careful not to demand attention if it's not correct, if you're not responding. And we already looked at the 35th gate in the gate of change in Mars. So it's also the Martian energy, which can be quite destructive and it's very powerful, this energy, but it's about harnessing it, maturing. It's immature energy. So it's about with time being getting mature, and then it can be quite creative. The 17th gate in Jupiter, law and protection. Second line, discrimination, the benefit of association based on the highest values, the successful achievement of purpose through proper alignment, the possibility to develop opinions through relationships, an overactive discrimination that leaves one virtually alone, the possibility of being opinionated at the expense of relationships. Yeah, so we might be prone to share opinions which might cost us the relationships. In the ancient law, that those who wish to rule must know how to serve. If it's correct for you, it can go out, but that's only what strategy and authority will say. Otherwise, it can be the successful achievement of purpose through proper alignment. But if you're not aligned correctly, it can be at the expense of relationships. And we looked already here. We looked at Saturn, where we're limited. And again, we have the second line, the second gate in sixth line in Uranus, the unusualness, chaos, and innovation. It's in the sixth line, fixation, unable or unwilling to see the whole picture. So that's also in the air, guys. The Mercury exalted, less negative, though the intellect becomes absorbed in constant rationalization. higher knowing that is extremely narrow in its receptivity. The need for security may distort awareness to its ultimate perversion, destructiveness, the higher self absorbed with the mundane and the need for security. We already looked at Neptune, and Pluto is in truth transformation and psychology, is in the inner truth, the gate of mystery, my story, appeal, sixth line, the profound attunement to the collectivity that can lure the public to a truth, inspiration that can bring clarity to the collective for our inner truth. We have a manifester here, doesn't know when enough is enough, wanting to prove itself under the pressure and the adrenaline to hurry, not knowing what's good, not knowing what the direction and love and identity is, not knowing what to think and what to be inspired about, wanting to act hastily in the moment, under the pressure of rejection and higher principles, not knowing when to be open socially, acting in the mood, not having clarity of when to get into the experience, acting over hastily or talking over hastily. So that's the transit field, and this is what is pushing us to act as our not selves. And in the transit field, that's conditioning. It's coming from the program, and everything is conditioning. And that's not something negative. It is the weather. It is there. It will influence you. It will condition you because it's real. It's there. It's energy, but which we cannot touch, but it's there. And conditioning is life. Being alive is being conditioned. The point is, are you taking the correct conditioning? Because we're in a program. So this is written program for today. Are we in the correct place, time, and space? And that depends on your strategy and authority. Then you're aligned. And then this conditioning might be the right for you to be correct and do something. And allow you to have the extra push or the extra pull to this or to that. The point is that you don't get pulled and pushed solely by this energy, but to be vigilant and to follow your strategy and listen to your authority, whether it is your inner authority or you're one of the more rare types and you have other type of authority. Still it will be in the body, and it will show you with its nervousness or not where is the energy available for, and what is it not available for, what things are correct and what are not correct, and whether there is something to take a decision about or not, or just waiting and doing your thing until this also passes, because this shall also pass. The morning is wiser than the evening. Keyword: patience. This is the transit of the day. And I'm Veronica from Human Design Journey. I am glad to have shared with you this information. And I'll be happy if it was practical and helpful in some way. Speak to you soon and enjoy the ride, fellow travelers. Bye for now.